The hotel ballroom glittered with crystal chandeliers and champagne flutes. Dad's retirement party was exactly the kind of event he deserved. 100 guests, live jazz trio, premium open bar, and enough corporate executives to fill a Forbes conference. After 38 years as a petroleum engineer, Daniel Garrett was finally stepping away from the oil fields. I'd arrived quietly, slipping in through the side entrance to avoid the receiving line. My black jeans, vintage blazer, and canvas sneakers weren't exactly cocktail attire, but I'd come straight from a site inspection at our new headquarters in Austin. I hadn't had time to change. Marcus spotted me immediately. "Sophie." His voice carried across the room, drawing heads. My older brother looked pristine in his tailored Tom Ford suit, his wife Vanessa dripping in jewelry beside him. "You actually showed up. We had bets going." I hugged Dad, who looked distinguished in his navy suit. "Congratulations, Dad. You earned this." "Thanks, sweetheart." He glanced at my outfit and I saw the familiar flicker of disappointment. "Glad you could make it." Mom appeared, resplendent in emerald silk. Her smile was warm, but her eyes did a quick inventory of my appearance. "Sophie, darling. How casual." "I came from work," I said simply. "Of course you did." Marcus accepted a champagne flute from a passing waiter. "Still doing that freelance thing? What is it this week?" "Graphic design." "Social media consulting." "Business consulting," I corrected quietly. Right. He turned to the group forming around us. Aunts, uncles, Dad's colleagues. "My little sister, the consultant. Works from coffee shops, makes her own hours, very modern." Vanessa tittered. "I keep telling her she should apply to Marcus's firm. Apex Consulting is always looking for entry-level analysts." "That's actually not a bad idea," Mom chimed in. "Marcus could put in a word. Get you something stable." I sipped my water and said nothing. The party continued around us. Dad's boss gave a speech about his contributions to 3 major pipeline projects. Colleagues shared stories about his dedication, his expertise, his leadership. Everyone raised glasses to his success, his legacy, his well-earned retirement. Then Marcus decided to give his own toast. He clinked his glass and the room quieted. "I want to say something about my dad. Growing up, he taught me the value of hard work. Real work. The kind that requires showing up every day, putting in the hours, building something that matters." His eyes slid to me. "He taught me that success isn't about chasing trends or working from your laptop at Starbucks. It's about commitment, professionalism, making real money doing real work." Uncomfortable laughter rippled through the crowd. I felt eyes turning toward me. "Dad showed us what a real career looks like," Marcus continued, warming to his theme. "He wore a suit. He worked for a respected company. He provided for his family. He gestured at his own expensive outfit. That's what I've tried to emulate at Apex. We work hard. We dress professionally. We take our careers seriously." Mom was nodding. Vanessa beamed. Dad looked uncomfortable but didn't interrupt. Marcus raised his glass higher. "So here's to Dad, a man who understood what it means to be a professional. Unlike some people," his gaze locked on me, "who think showing up to their own father's retirement party in jeans and sneakers is acceptable." The jazz trio had stopped playing. Every eye in the room was on me. "Maybe if you had a real career, Sophie, you could afford to dress better," Marcus announced, his voice projecting to every corner of the ballroom. "You could buy a nice dress. Get your hair done properly. Look like you actually belong at an event like this." The whole family nodded in agreement. Aunt Patricia whispered something to Uncle James. Dad's former boss looked embarrassed. Mom's face was red, but she didn't defend me. I pulled out my phone. Marcus smirked. "What are you going to do, Sophie? Post about this on Instagram? Tweet about how mean your brother is?" I opened my secure access portal and navigated to the employee database. Found Marcus Garrett's file. His position: Senior Associate Strategy Division. His boss: Jennifer Chin, VP of Operations. His salary: $145,000 annually. Jennifer's boss, the CEO: me. I tapped the termination protocol, selected position eliminated, restructuring, and approved the severance package with my thumbprint. The system processed it instantly. "Marcus," I said quietly, my voice cutting through the silence. Your position at Apex Consulting was just eliminated. He laughed. What are you talking about? Check your email. Sophie, this isn't funny. Your email. Something in my tone made him pull out his phone. I watched his face as he opened his work account. Watched the color drain. Watched his hands start shaking. This is a mistake. Someone hacked. No hack. Your employment with Apex Consulting is terminated effective immediately. Your company laptop, phone, and access cards will be deactivated in. I checked my watch. 3 minutes. Security will meet you at the office Monday morning to collect them and escort you out. Vanessa grabbed his phone. This can't be real. Marcus, call Jennifer. Call your boss. Tell her there's been a mistake. Jennifer Chin reports directly to me, I said calmly. She works for me. Everyone at Apex works for me. Mom's champagne flute slipped from her fingers, shattering on the marble floor. You're lying, Marcus whispered. You're just some freelance. I held up my phone, turned it so the room could see. On the screen, the Apex Consulting Executive Dashboard with my name at the top. Sophia Garrett, Chief Executive Officer and Founder. I founded Apex Consulting 7 years ago, I said, my voice steady. Started it from my laptop in coffee shops, just like you said. Built it into a firm with 218 employees across 6 offices. Last year's revenue was $92 million. Dad sat down heavily. Marcus, you've worked there for 3 years. I hired you personally despite your mediocre credentials because Mom asked me to. You had a marketing degree and no consulting experience, but I gave you a chance. Sophie, Mom started. I gave you training. Mentorship. I paired you with our best team leads. I gave you high-profile projects to build your resume. Marcus was staring at me like I was a stranger. And you've been adequate. Not exceptional, but adequate. Your performance reviews are solid B- work. Your clients tolerate you. Your colleagues find you manageable. Vanessa made a small sound. But here's what I can't tolerate. I pocketed my phone. You used your position at my company, the company I built, to mock me publicly. To diminish me in front of our father, our family, his colleagues. You weaponized your association with Apex to make yourself look successful while making me look like a failure. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. Every time Mom mentioned my work, you changed the subject. Every time I tried to talk about my business, you interrupted with stories about your firm. You never once asked what I actually do. Because you were always so secretive. Marcus's voice cracked. You never told us you owned the company. You never asked. You assumed I was entry-level at best. You offered to get me a job at my own firm. Aunt Patricia gasped. I turned to address the room. I apologize for the disruption. This is Dad's night and he deserves celebration, not drama. I looked at my father, who was staring at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. Dad, I'm incredibly proud of you. Your career, your achievements, everything you built. You taught me that real work means showing up, staying committed, and building something that lasts. That's exactly what I did. Sophie, he said quietly. Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted to do it on my own. Without your connections, without your name opening doors, without anyone saying I succeeded because I was Daniel Garrett's daughter. I smiled sadly. I wanted to be successful because of my work. My skills. My vision. But we could have helped. Supported you. You did support me. You taught me discipline. Work ethic. Integrity. I glanced at Marcus. Well, 2 out of 3. Dad almost smiled. Mom found her voice. You let us think you were struggling. Living in that tiny apartment, driving that old car. I live in a modest apartment because I don't need space I won't use. I drive a paid-off car because I prefer investing in the business rather than depreciating assets. I pulled up another screen on my phone. The company's worth approximately $270 million. I own 83% of it. My personal net worth is around $220 million. Someone dropped a plate in the kitchen. The crash echoed through the silent ballroom. But you dress like... Vanessa gestured helplessly at my outfit. Like someone who spent the day touring a construction site. Because I did. We're building a new headquarters in Austin. 60,000 square feet. I needed to check the progress before flying here. I looked down at my sneakers. These are comfortable. The blazer is vintage Armani. And I don't particularly care what you think of my genes. Marcus sank into a chair. I can't believe this. This whole time. This whole time you were working at my company, earning a salary I approved, using credentials I helped you build, all while thinking I was beneath you. What happens now? He asked quietly. I considered him. My brother who'd bullied me through high school, who'd made fun of my college major, who'd called my business dreams cute when I first started. My brother who'd nonetheless shown up when I had my appendix out. Who'd helped me move 3 times. Who'd taught me to drive stick shift in his old truck. Your severance package is generous. 6 months salary, continued health insurance, and a neutral reference letter. That gives you time to find something new. You're really firing me. I'm really firing you. You can't work for me after this, Marcus. The team would never respect you and you'd never respect them. But I'm not destroying you. Jennifer Chin appeared at my elbow. She must have been in the crowd. Ms. Garrett, I apologize. I had no idea Mr. Garrett was your brother. If I had known. It's not your fault, Jennifer. You've done excellent work managing the strategy division. I smiled at her. Actually, with Marcus's departure, we'll need a new senior associate. Can you have recommendations on my desk by Wednesday? Of course. She nodded and retreated. Dad stood up slowly. Sophie, can we talk? Privately. We stepped out onto the terrace overlooking the city lights. The night air was cool, carrying the scent of jasmine from the hotel gardens. I'm sorry, he said finally. Your mother and I, we didn't see you. We didn't ask the right questions. You were busy with your own career. I understand. That's not an excuse. He turned to face me. You built something extraordinary. And instead of celebrating it, we dismissed it. I dismissed it. You didn't know. I should have known. I should have paid attention. He smiled sadly. $220 million. That's incredible, Sophie. The money isn't the point. The business is. The team I've built, the clients we serve, the problems we solve. I leaned against the railing. I'm good at what I do, Dad. Really good. And I did it wearing jeans and sneakers. He laughed, a real laugh this time. Apparently so. Then his expression sobered. What you did to Marcus, that was harsh. It was necessary. I know. I'm not questioning it. I'm just. He sighed. He's my son too. I hate seeing him hurt. He'll land on his feet. His resume has Apex on it. That carries weight. He's skilled enough to find something comparable. Will you ever forgive him? I thought about that. Eventually. But right now he needs to understand consequences. He needs to learn that actions matter, that how you treat people matters, and that assumptions can cost you everything. Dad nodded slowly. You learned that from me. I learned a lot from you. More than you realize. We stood in silence for a moment watching the city lights. Can I ask you something? Dad said finally. Why consulting? With your business acumen you could have done anything. Because I love solving problems. I love walking into a struggling company and figuring out how to turn it around. I love seeing businesses grow, watching teams succeed, helping people build something sustainable. I smiled. Kind of like what you did with pipelines. You built infrastructure that powered entire regions. I built strategies that power companies. I never thought of it that way. You're the reason I do what I do, Dad. You just didn't know it. He pulled me into a hug. I'm proud of you. I should have said that years ago. You're saying it now. When we returned to the ballroom, the party had resumed, quieter, more subdued but functioning. Marcus and Vanessa were gone. Mom was talking urgently with Aunt Patricia. The jazz trio played soft standards. Mom approached me, her eyes red. Sophie, I need to apologize. Mom. No, let me say this. I failed you. As a mother, I should have supported your dreams, asked about your work, celebrated your achievements. Instead, I compared you to Marcus, made you feel small, and assumed the worst. She took my hands. I'm so sorry. I forgive you. But going forward, I need you to see me. Really see me. I will. I promise. Jennifer Chin appeared again. Ms. Garrett, I hate to interrupt, but the Austin contractor called. They need your approval on the electrical specifications. Can it wait until Monday? They're trying to stay on schedule for the June opening. I sighed. Give me 10 minutes. As Jennifer walked away, Dad chuckled. Running a company never stops, does it? Not really. I smiled. But I wouldn't have it any other way. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of conversations. Dad's colleagues wanted to talk about Apex, about consulting, about my unexpected success. Aunt Patricia kept apologizing. Uncle James asked for business advice. I left around 10, hugging Dad one more time. "Thank you for coming," he said. "Even after everything. It's your night. You deserve to have family here. You're the best of us, you know that?" I smiled. "I'm just the one who learned your lessons and applied them differently." In the parking garage I found my 10-year-old Subaru, practical, reliable, paid off. I drove home to my modest 2-bedroom apartment, where my laptop waited with emails about the Austin project, the new client proposal, and the quarterly board meeting. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "I'm sorry. You deserved better from me." I stared at it for a long moment, then typed back. "You'll figure it out. You always do." Another text, this time from Dad. "Breakfast next Saturday? Just us. I want to hear about your business. Really hear about it." I smiled. "I'd like that." As I opened my laptop and reviewed the electrical specifications for our new headquarters, I thought about success and family, and the moment when your brother realizes you fired him from your own company. Dad's retirement party had been supposed to celebrate his career. Instead, it became the night everyone learned what mine actually was. And honestly, that was better than any toast Marcus could have given. The phone call came Friday evening while I reviewed case briefs. My sister Lauren's voice was cheerful. "Hey Victoria. Heads up. I'm organizing a family reunion at the lake house next weekend. Memorial Day. About 30 people. I sent invitations." I set down my pen. "You're organizing what at my house?" "The lake house. Perfect for family gatherings." I distributed keys to cousins driving up early to prep. Aunt Susan and Uncle Ray are bringing their RV. "Oh, and I hired caterers. I'll Venmo you for your share." She hung up. At 41, I was a federal district court judge for the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. I'd been on the bench 3 years after 15 years as a federal prosecutor. Annual salary, $223,400. Net worth, $4.8 million. My family thought I was a government lawyer who worked at the courthouse. The lake house Lauren was commandeering was custom-built on 40 acres in the Adirondacks. Purchased 5 years ago for $2.1 million. 4 bedrooms, floor-to-ceiling windows, private dock, security system. Current value, $2.8 million. It was registered as a federal judge's residence with enhanced security protections under 28 U.S.C. Section 566, making unauthorized entry a federal offense. My family didn't know because they'd never asked about my actual career. I called my U.S. Marshals liaison. Deputy Marshal James Chin answered immediately. "Judge Mitchell. Everything all right?" My sister organized a 30-person reunion at my lake house without authorization. She distributed keys. "People are arriving this weekend." Brief pause. "At your registered judicial residence?" "Yes." Unauthorized entry into a federal judge's residence is a serious federal offense. If they enter without permission, we'll respond according to protocol. I'm documenting this in advance. I have not and will not authorize any access. I'll flag this and notify the field office near your property. Do you want local law enforcement backup? Please. And James. My sister made key copies. I need locks changed immediately and security updated. Team there tomorrow morning. We'll post notice that it's federal property. Anyone attempting entry after that will be cited immediately. I called my property management company. All locks changed by tomorrow. Previous keys invalidated. New security codes. Then my security provider. I need footage from the past month showing who accessed the property. What I discovered was infuriating. Lauren had visited 4 times in 6 weeks. She brought friends. Hosted parties. Posted Instagram photos calling it, our family retreat. Our family retreat. My $2.8 million property. Saturday morning I drove 5 hours to the lake house. The U.S. Marshals team was there. 2 vehicles for deputies installing new locks and posting federal property notices. Judge Mitchell, Deputy Chin greeted me. We've secured the perimeter. New locks installed. Anyone attempting entry without authorization will be detained and cited. The notices were clear. Federal property residence of U.S. federal judge, unauthorized entry prohibited 28 C Section 566 violators will be prosecuted. How do you want to handle family members with keys? Chin asked. They'll discover they don't work. At that point they're trespassing. Issue citations. Understood. I spent Saturday working remotely and waiting. Lauren called 3 times. I didn't answer. Her voicemails grew annoyed. Victoria, my key isn't working. I have caterers coming Monday. This isn't funny. You can't lock out the family from a family property. Sunday evening Lauren posted in the family group chat. FI Victoria changed locks on the lake house. Incredibly selfish. The house is for the whole family, not just her. We're still having the reunion. I'll figure out access. Mom responded, Lauren, maybe you should have asked Victoria first? Lauren, why? It's the family lake house. She doesn't own it exclusively. Cousin Mark, pretty sure Victoria does own it exclusively. Lauren, that's not the point. Family shares. I forwarded the thread to Deputy Chin. Documentation of planned unauthorized entry. Monday morning, Memorial Day, the first arrivals came. Cousin Jennifer, her husband, 3 kids. I watched security cameras as they tried their key, discovered it didn't work, then tried forcing a window. Deputies emerged from their vehicle. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I saw Jennifer's face go from annoyed to shocked to terrified as deputies explained she was attempting to break into a federal judge's residence. Citations issued. Children crying. Husband arguing. Then Aunt Susan and Uncle Ray in their RV. More deputies. More citations. More shocked faces. By afternoon Lauren arrived with her husband and my mother. She had a key, confidence, and apparently a prepared speech about family values. She didn't get to deliver it. Hold up. I watched through cameras as Lauren approached with her key, my mother and brother-in-law following. She stopped at the federal property notices. What the hell? Lauren read aloud, residence of U.S. federal judge. This is a mistake. Victoria's not a judge. She's a courthouse lawyer. Mom leaned in. Lauren, this is official federal signage. It's probably a legal technicality to keep us out. The key didn't work. Lauren tried 3 times, increasingly frustrated. Deputy Chin and another marshal emerged. Ma'am, step away. This is federal property. You're trespassing. Lauren spun. Trespassing? This is my family's lake house. This property is registered as the residence of Federal District Court Judge Victoria Mitchell. You're attempting unauthorized entry into a federal judge's residence. A federal offense under 28 U.S.C. Section 566. Federal judge? Lauren laughed. Victoria's not a judge. She does courthouse paperwork. Deputy Chin pulled out credentials. Ma'am, I'm U.S. Deputy Marshal James Chin, assigned to Judge Mitchell's security detail. This is her protected residence. Do you have authorization from Judge Mitchell? Lauren's face cycled through emotions. She's really a federal judge? Yes. Federal District Court for D.C. Do you have authorization? She's my sister. Of course I do. This is the family lake house. That's not how federal property law works. This is owned by Judge Mitchell and registered as a judicial residence with enhanced security. Unauthorized entry is a federal crime. I need identification from all of you. Mom stepped forward. Officer, there's been a misunderstanding. Ma'am, your identification please. As deputies checked IDs and prepared citations, more family arrived. Cousin Mark. Aunt Barbara. The caterers. All stopped by deputies. All receiving the same explanation. Federal judge's protected residence. Trespassing. Citations. The caterers left immediately, threatening to sue Lauren for the deposit. Lauren was nearly screaming. Victoria, I know you're watching. Come out and tell them this is a family house. I opened the front door. Lauren's relief was immediate. Finally. Tell them this is a mistake. You're not allowed here. You organized an event without my permission. You distributed keys without authorization. You posted federal property on social media when you have no ownership interest. I'm your sister. You're trespassing on federal property. Deputy Chin, proceed with citations. Mom looked stricken. Victoria, you're really a federal judge? Why didn't you tell us? I did. 4 years ago when I was nominated. You said, "That's nice, dear," and changed the subject to Lauren's marketing job. I invited everyone to my confirmation hearing. No one came. We didn't know it was important. A federal judgeship is one of the highest honors in law. It's a lifetime appointment. It came with extensive background checks, Senate confirmation, and enhanced security protocols, including protected residence status. Lauren stared at the notices. So you're like, actually important? I'm a U.S. federal district court judge. I preside over federal criminal and civil cases. I make constitutional rulings. And this property is registered as my judicial residence. Unauthorized entry isn't just trespassing. It's a federal offense. We didn't know. You didn't ask. You assumed I was unimportant enough that you could commandeer my property. You made key copies. You've been using this house for parties. You posted it on social media, creating security risks. Then you organized a 30-person gathering without consent. Deputy Chin handed Lauren a citation. Ma'am, you're being cited for attempted unauthorized entry into a federal judge's residence. Federal violation. Court summons within 30 days. Court summons. Lauren went pale. Federal magistrate court. You'll need to appear or hire an attorney. Mom received a citation. My brother-in-law. Everyone who'd attempted entry. This is crazy. Lauren said. We're family. Family doesn't make it legal, Chin said. The law protecting federal judges' residences exists because of security threats. You compromised Judge Mitchell's security by distributing keys, posting her property on social media, organizing unauthorized gatherings. How much are these fines? My brother-in-law asked. Up to $1,000 per violation plus potential criminal charges if the U.S. attorney prosecutes. Given multiple violations, key copying, unauthorized entry attempts, security compromises, the U.S. attorney's office will review the case. Lauren looked faint. Criminal charges? Potentially. Judge Mitchell would need to request prosecution. I looked at my sister, my mother, the family scattered around holding citations. I want every key destroyed. Every social media post deleted. Written acknowledgement that you have no ownership interest. And every person who received a key signs a statement they won't attempt access again. Or what? Lauren asked weakly. Or I request full federal prosecution. Criminal charges. Possible jail time. Permanent federal records. Revelation. The family stood in my driveway, citations in hand, reality sinking in. Mom spoke first. Victoria, we genuinely didn't understand. You said judge, but we thought traffic court or something. Federal district court judges are appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Lifetime appointments. We handle major federal cases. Civil rights, constitutional challenges, federal criminal prosecutions. I've presided over international fraud, public corruption, organized crime cases. Oh my God, Aunt Susan said. Those are serious. Yes. Which is why my residence requires enhanced security. Why unauthorized entry is federal offense. Why Lauren distributing keys and posting my address on Instagram created actual security risks. Lauren scrolled her phone frantically. I need to delete these posts now. Screenshots already taken for the federal case file, Chin noted. Deleting now won't erase security compromises. I'm so sorry, Lauren said, sounding genuine for the first time. I really didn't know. I thought you just worked at a courthouse. I didn't realize you were actually important. Important enough that threatening me, which some posts could be interpreted as doing, carries serious federal penalties. Important enough that people I've sentenced have reasons to want to know where I live. Important enough that you broadcasting my location could have put me in actual danger. Color drained from Lauren's face. I didn't mean. You didn't think. You assumed this property was communal because you couldn't imagine I'd be successful enough to own it myself. Mom was crying. How much did this cost? $2.1 million 5 years ago. Worth $2.8 million now. Silence. You bought a $3 million house and we didn't know? Lauren asked. You didn't ask. Every time I mention work you changed the subject. You've never asked about my cases, career or life. Deputy Chin checked his watch. Judge Mitchell, we need to clear the property. Everyone needs to leave immediately. Wait, Mom said. Can we talk? Inside. No. You're all trespassers cited for federal violations. You're not entering my home. Victoria, please, Lauren said. I made a huge mistake. Can we fix this? Here's how you fix this. Everyone signs statements acknowledging no rights to this property. Everyone submits to U.S. Marshal interviews about how they obtained keys. Everyone deletes social media posts and provides phone records proving deletion. Everyone pays citation fines without complaint. And then? Lauren asked. And then maybe I don't request criminal prosecution. Maybe. Resolution. Over the next week, every cited family member complied. They signed statements. They submitted to interviews. They deleted posts and provided phone records. They paid fines $800 each. Lauren paid $1,200 because she distributed keys. The U.S. Marshal Service completed a full security review. They upgraded systems, added monitoring, and flagged my file for enhanced protection. Deputy Chen's report concluded, subject's family created significant security vulnerabilities through key distribution and social media exposure. Violations were due to ignorance rather than malice, but security compromises were severe. Recommend continued monitoring and no family access to judicial residence. The U.S. Attorney's Office reviewed the case and decided not to pursue criminal charges, given cooperation and lack of criminal intent. But citations remained on federal records. Lauren called 2 weeks later. I'm so sorry, Victoria. I was selfish and thoughtless and I almost got us arrested. You did get cited for federal violations. Those don't go away. I know. I hired a lawyer. He says fines will stick, but if I stay out of trouble it won't affect my life much. But Victoria, I had no idea you were so successful. Why didn't you tell us? I tried. You weren't interested. I'm interested now. Now that you've been cited by U.S. Marshals for trying to break into my house? Silence. I need you to understand something. I bought this house because I needed a secure, private place away from threats that come with my job. I've sentenced people to decades in prison. I've made enemies. This house isn't a vacation spot. It's a protected residence because my safety matters. I never thought about it that way. You never thought about me at all. Just what you could take. She didn't call again. Mom sent an email 3 weeks later. I've been thinking about the incident. I'm ashamed we never asked about your career. I'm ashamed I missed your confirmation. Can we start over? I replied, we can be in contact. But you're never accessing my lake house again. That boundary is permanent. He accepted it. 6 months passed. Security upgrades held. No more family attempts to access the property. No more social media posts. No more assumptions that my success was communal. I received a promotion, chief judge of my district court, at 42, one of the youngest chief judges in the circuit. I didn't announce it to family. They found out when it made legal news. Lauren texted, congratulations on chief judge. That's amazing. I googled what it means this time. I replied, thank you. Nothing more needed. The lake house remained mine. Secure, private, entirely off limits to family who'd learned the expensive lesson that assumptions about access don't create legal rights. The federal citations they received were permanent reminders. Property ownership matters. Security matters. And federal judges' residences aren't family vacation homes. They're protected federal properties with serious legal consequences. They'd assumed I was small enough, unimportant enough, that my house could be their house. The federal notices posted on my door told a different story. So did the U.S. Marshal vehicles that still occasionally patrolled. So did the Title 28 U.S.C. Section 566 citations they'd all received. My family learned that assumptions don't grant access. And federal law doesn't care about family entitlement.